Welcome back to Claire's Culinary Adventures. I promised before that I was going to show you some of my cakes, my wedding cakes, other occasion cakes, and this is the video for that. Some of these are older, some one or two is recent, as recent as last year. Anyway, I'll only comment when I need to, and I feel like about if I have a special story about a cake. And here we go. So this one coming up here is my very first wedding cake for a bride in Far Rockaway, New York. It was in the summer, in July or August, don't remember. By the time I got there, go to take out the cake, the sides were all falling off. Good thing I had my repair kit. I had to fix it, repair it, and nobody would know that happened. Set it up, and a little girl decided to put her finger in the cake after that. That's why some people don't like to have kids at weddings, you know. Anyway, that was my very first official wedding cake that I got paid for, because I've made other cakes for people. This cake had wafer paper roses and gum paste lilies. It's a birthday. My very first same-sex couple wedding cake. Very first. And it was two guys from New Jersey. The groom made his own cake topper. This bottom cake was a 16 or 18 inch cake, but it was a foam board cake, you know. Bride wanted a cake that looked very big and didn't want to spend a lot of money, so we obliged by making the bottom cake look just like a real cake, but it's fake. You always have to tell them where to cut, you know, on a cake like this, so they're not cutting into foam. Steer's wedding cake was big one time with the fountain. Most brides don't want that now. This is a Stardust. This cake is called Stardust in one of the Wilton books. And the bottom cake is actually 42 inches long, an 18-inch cake with two 12-inch cakes. And this is what it looks like in the book. More fountain and stairs. Nobody uses them anymore. But the good thing is, during the night, everybody comes to the table and take a picture. That was going on all night because I attended this wedding. Everybody loved the light of the fountain and everything. So I think they're pretty, but most brides don't want them these days. Or almost everything should be edible. This cake was, an English lady called me and she said her husband is in New York. They're going to get married here. And she wanted a cake. Every time she called somewhere for black cake, they tell her about chocolate cake. They came. The husband said he wanted a light cake in between. By the time the tasting was finished, he wanted all rum cake, just like the bride. He loved that rum. They love that rum, I tell you. It's the rum. This was all fake cake, just something I set up for when brides come to look at. You know, I have a few more of those. This is another same-sex couple cake, but these were females, and they met in India. They worked and met in India, white Americans, and they wanted an Indian design that they brought to me, and I had to undo the whole thing. I used my hand for every tear. Came out pretty nice. They loved it. Top cake. The top flowers was a lotus flowers. One flower at the top. Very simple, you know. They want it simple. This is my favorite wedding cake. This is my favorite cake. I don't know, just something like it look exactly like it look in the book, and at the end you'll see what it looks like in the book. I took a copy of the page in the book, and this was all orchids, ivy leaves, and what else? Ivy leaves, orchids, and it's fondant, you know. Fondant is the outer part, but I decorated the cake. This is what it looks like in the book. Take another look. This is what mine look like. I think I got this one to a T, and I love it. So it's one of my niece's cake I made in Jamaica. This is another of those Stardust wedding cake. Another Stardust wedding cake. You know, with the fountain, the 42-inch cake, and more cake on top, fountain, and, you know, everything meets in the middle at the top. But the bride decided to put, you know, decide on what top, cake topper she wanted. This was for an African bride. This was for a Trinidadian bride. This one. Don't like too much artificial flowers, but this was a pretty cake. So that's the close-up. And this is Cornelli hand done, you know, everything is hand done. Cornelli lace that I did, and then with the white shiny draggees, pearl draggees. It's really pretty. This is what the cake looked like in the book. My favorite niece wedding cake that I made in Jamaica. Boy, that was something I learned, how hot it can be in Jamaica for fondant. Fondant was just dripping all over the place. Couldn't hardly get it on the cake. Finally, you know, we turned the air conditioner up high and got it done. This cake had one tier that wasn't rum cake. It was a light cake. And that is done for brides, you know, for weddings, that where the bride have other guests that don't want wedding cake. But almost all the time they end up having the fruit cake. These stands are very versatile. This one was done for a man's 75th birthday. His daughter ordered it. And these stands are versatile. They have highs, they have lows, and you can fill the middle with all kind of flowers or colors or whatever you want. And when I was buying it, this is what was shown in the book. And they can be done all kind of ways, shaped different ways, because they move around. This is my first cake where I never met the bride. She was a soldier overseas. She called me on the phone, ordered the cake, sent her mom and her sister to do the tasting, and then we called her and they told her they were satisfied, and she ordered the cake. Took the cake to the venue, never met her, but she loved it and sent me pictures after. These cakes coming up are, I call them mini cakes. These are cakes that people, you know, bride give to their guests. They're like little souvenirs. Most time people don't even want to eat them. They're packaged different ways. The ones before in a square box. This bride, we put them in I think a plastic wrap, and she brought bows to tie on them. And they order like 50, depending on how many guests. These were my very first ones. and I didn't know what I was in for. I think this lady ordered like 175, 150. Yeah, 175. And I worked one day and another night just to put them together, not counting the day when and these are some others, not counting the day when I baked the cake. And that's decorating 175 little cakes. And people order 150, 185, you know, see the different colors that they choose. Shipped them before. Some I remember shipping a whole, what, 200 to Arizona, I think. And they arrived safely, but they were shipped FedEx. And that has one has color lily on the top. Sometimes they put an orchid, a rose, or whatever they choose. I think this was the 175, I think. This was 250 actually. Yeah, lots of work. Sometimes I have to have someone help me. But they really come out nice. They look nice, and people love them. This is my daughter's first baby shower cake I made. It has orchids, different type of orchids, you know, and Swiss dots and Stephanartis flowers. Yeah, we had a good time that night. Baby cakes, baby stroller. These are, you know, you have a stroller pan. Wilton sells them, and you bake the cake. It shapes out like a stroller. You just have to decorate them, and I did a lot of these. I had to buy 3 pans because sometimes I have a lot of cake for the weekend. This is a nice little cake for a baby. Another baby cake. Assorted cakes, and a lot of these smaller cakes, single cakes, are when brides are getting their wedding from where they decide they make a rum cake, and they order a rum cake to cut, because they want to cut 2 cake. They want to cut the light cake they're getting, because most of those places don't give you a light, I mean a rum cake, fruit cake. So they want to cut into their fruit cake for their wedding. And these are Caribbean brides I'm talking about, African, whoever it might be. This is another square one. This is an 8-inch. Most times they order an 8-inch. I just fix them up and decorate them nicely. They always choose a color relative to the colors of the wedding. This is not a rum cake. This is a light cake. And those are chocolate roses I made. And chocolate, this is not fondant either. This is chocolate, handmade chocolate roses. It was for her birthday. This young lady was so happy when she came and saw the cake. She couldn't believe. She said, she started crying and said, this is the best cake she's ever gotten for her birthday. So I was very happy for that. Makes you feel good. These are sheet cakes. You make these and they cut them up and put them in boxes like this for the guests. So you can choose a single cake. Oh man, I love making these gumpaste flowers. That is hibiscus and orchids and all kinds of different flowers. Generally make them when there's a wedding. So I just want to thank you for watching my videos. Appreciate you hanging around, even though I've been out of the YouTube for a couple of weeks. Thanks again. Bye. In the next few upcoming videos, I'm going to do some cake decorating. I'm going to decorate a rum cake, and I'm also going to decorate some foam cakes So you'll see certain kind of decorations and how I do them. I hope you watch. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and I thank you very much.